While it's possible to position yourself to make money and remain unscathed from the economic and psychological warfare that is being conducted, it's not going to be easy to do the same for your friends and neighbors because they are walking with their eyes wide shut. In other words, they don't see what's happening, their heads are stuck in the sand. They are oblivious to what's going around, and if you try to warn them, they are apartment to strangle you. This situation is strikingly similar to Plato's allegory of the cave, psychological warfare. It is going to surge to levels never seen before. The goal is to alter the perception, and you alter reality. You need to start positioning yourself to be in the land of neutrality when it comes to taking a stance. Neutral does not mean running and hiding in some zone. You should be able to look at the argument from both sides of the coin and agree with either side if necessary without becoming emotionally attached to the outcome. Hence, an observer would not be polarized by either Trump or Hillary. You could easily find some points to like about Hillary when talking with a Hillary fanatic and vice versa. The same applies to dealing with a Trump fanatic. The point we are trying to illustrate here is that committing yourself to a camp removes your ability to see the full picture. You willingly have reduced your range of observation by 50% or more. Take this principle to the stock markets. You should not forcefully try to find a camp you belong to. In other words, being a perma-bull or a perma-bear is simply silly. For now you only have access to 50% of the data. You will block any bullish scenario if you are perma-bear and vice versa. Data is there to be used, not to be blocked, and that is where the top players are getting the masses. They are forcing them to make permanent choices or take permanent positions that are detrimental to their welfare. The players doing the pushing, though, are not plagued with these handicaps. They easily navigate from one camp to another, never forming any attachment with any of these camps. Hot money will drive everything going forward and fraud will soar. Everything going forward is going to be driven by hot money. And the hotter the money, the more alienated the average person will feel, for the gap between rich and poor is going to soar even more. To control a beast, you need to make that beast feel helpless. Once the beast feels helpless, no matter how ferocious it was before, it will refuse to resist. Experiments have shown that once rats are made to feel helpless and then put into a pool of water, they give up trying to survive rather rapidly. Instead of swimming for hours and hours trying to live, they usually give up almost immediately and drown. However, these same rats that were made to feel helpless can revert to their former selves, if they are given some encouragement, before being put into the pool. Just the bare minimum of exposures in such an environment is enough to make these guys fight for their lives if they are put in a tank of water with no chance of escaping. Central bankers are utilizing the same strategy, only this time, they are working with human test subjects and not mice. The goal here is to push the majority into a state of helplessness, and if you look around, we are almost there. Nobody seems to want to resist. Compare today's resistance to that of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, etc., and it appears pathetic in nature. The purpose of hammering this point in so deeply is to make you understand that hot money is not going away because the masses are not making an issue of it. They are quiet, so the rate will continue. It's going to get even hotter. It's going to get so hot that we won't bother getting into the details now. You won't believe us at this point. As we get closer to these levels, we will address them in more detail. And you are right, this experiment won't end well, but even more important is that no one knows when it will end. It will only end when the masses have had enough, but what if you can control or alter their perception of what is termed as enough? And then the term takes on a whole new meaning. Suggested game plan: learn how to invest in the markets and make sure you don't end up at the mercy of some corporation or government controlled social security. Subscribe to our free newsletter to keep abreast of the latest developments. We cover everything from the financial markets to the world's food supplies. Mass psychology knows no limits. Utilized properly, it can spot trends in any market, and you can learn how to protect yourself and benefit from these new trends. Lastly, live 1 to 2 levels below your means and put this money to work in the stock market. One thing to remember is that disaster is the code word for opportunity.